Okay, here we go. It is February 24th. And I don't have an agenda for this particular call. So just like last week, it's open to whatever you guys need. And I'm sure once you start me on a path, I'll go deep into the weeds. But Jim, to your point of the fishing, I am going to be setting up like a charter schedule, not only for fishing, but also for local mastermind groups. And I've talked to Craig about that. He wants to do it too. He wants to do like little private groups on the boat for his people, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
You can just put a little group together, do a little mastermind. I think you were on one of those that we did.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of hung out at the dock for a few hours, chewed the fat, and then went out and looked at the dolphins and came back in and had a day of it.
Yeah, that was great.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are interested in doing like comprehensive Kartra funnel setup, but that would be a pretty cool mastermind.
Yeah, we could definitely do that too. That's one of the things that I was thinking about. And also just some of the pieces of ACT. Like,
oh, right.
Just like sit 4 to 6 people down and go through and create a big idea for each one of them.
Perfect.
Because I think that is like a major stumbling block.
I agree.
And, for anybody that hasn't done that yet or hasn't figured that out, that's kind of a key component to get the ball rolling in any marketing campaign. If you don't have that in place, you're gonna definitely struggle, because it also helps just in basic conversation too, because you get used to the idea of how do you seed somebody to want more information. And those curiosity factors are critical. Like, there's such a big difference. You'll probably notice this when you're talking to somebody and you're just it feels like you're just throwing up on them. You're trying to get them interested in something that they're not interested in yet. And it's a horrible experience for them. Think about it. Like, when was the last time you had a pushy salesperson at you and you weren't interested? It's a horrible experience. So the idea of like having a conversation with somebody, not about business or not about what you do, not about what you want to sell them, but then throwing out just some little bomb that seeds their curiosity and they ask you more about it. Now it's a different conversation. Now you're asking them or they're asking you rather, and you're telling them what they want to know. And that's the whole idea of the big idea, is to get somebody leaning forward, get them to say, tell me more. And that's where your lead magnets come in. And like I said, I've always said this, what works in the real world, you have to figure out how to digitize if you want to automate it. That's where your lead magnet comes in. That's like when they lean forward and say, tell me more. Oh, here you go. Here's the lead magnet. Here's what I was talking about. Now, the lead magnet's job is to seed them with a little bit more information, very useful, but incomplete. So they need a little bit more information to actually get where they want to go. And that's where you bring in the next step. And the next step is, hey, if you want to really learn a deep dive on this so you can get the benefit out of it, why don't you join me on this webinar? Or, in the real world, it would be, hey, let's set up a time to do a presentation. I'll get my stuff together and I can really show you so you understand. Not just, hey, let's half-ass do it right here. I think this could really benefit you. Give me some time to compose myself and put together a meaningful presentation for you, and whoever else is involved. And it's something that has worked in the real world forever. When I went through Eric Lawful's sales training, God, probably a decade ago or more, And he said, when you're out at a marketing or a networking event, he was big on teaching you how to work in networking events. He said, your job in a networking event is not to make a presentation. It's just to generate a lead. It's just, hey, would you like, if they want more information, hey, let's set a time to do that. Not now. We're both busy. There's a lot of opportunity in this room. Neither one of us wants to miss out on any of it. So let's set an appropriate time to pick this back up. So that they really appreciate you for that too, because they didn't go to that marketing event to sit and talk with somebody for an hour. They went there to generate leads just like you are. So if you're in front of them and you spend an hour of their time, and this is, say it's a 2-hour event, you just wiped out half of their opportunity. And whether they say it or not, they're going to resent you for it. They're going to go, God damn it, I wish I had more time at the event. You know, I missed out on so much opportunity because I was yakking with so-and-so. Damn that guy. Damn that girl. You know? So your job is seriously just to generate a lead. That is the whole big idea principle. It's to throw out some curiosity bomb that they want more information. And then you can say, hey, let me send you something. What's your email? That's it. I mean, it's minutes, if not seconds of interaction. It's not hours. It's not, 15-minute blocks when they're trying to be productive at an event. In the online world, it's the same thing. If you burn too much of somebody's time, like this morning, I've been interested in all this crypto stuff. So I've been watching a lot of webinars and things on it, learning all I can learn about it. And it just so pisses me off when they spend 45 minutes of absolutely nothing. It's just like, you have completely wasted my time. My time is valuable to me. And I get so aggravated that I get in their chat box and I start going off on them. I'm like, are you ever going to say anything meaningful? Or and sometimes they see it. And I've had a couple of guys that say, okay, let me get to the point. And I know it's because of what I'm throwing out in the chat box. But they go on and on about themselves, and nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody cares about us. All they care about is what we can do for them. So keep that in mind, when you're doing your presentations, when you're setting up your webinars, and that's all a webinar is. It's just a sales presentation. That's all it is. It's very simple. So if you look at it like a court case, you will be very effective. And that, I think that was the old thing on TV called Dragnet, where the guy says, only the facts, ma'am. When the woman's going off, giving them all kinds, you go, only the facts, ma'am. That's all you want. Only the facts. Keep it to that. Keep it simple. Keep it meaningful every step of the way. Show them how to do something that is relevant to what they want to get out of their timeline. It all comes back to the timeline. Everybody's on one. And actually, we're all on a whole bunch of them. Nobody has just one timeline. If you look at what we want, there's things every minute of every day, we have timelines that are starting up. I mean, for instance, right about lunchtime, everybody has a timeline that starts, it says, hey, I'm hungry. What do you want? All you want is, you just want to satisfy that. The end of the timeline is a meal. That's it. Where are you going to get that meal? Who's going to sell you that meal is come down to marketing. Where you're going to get that meal is a marketing campaign that somebody created, outside of you just going making your own lunch. But if you go out somewhere and you buy something, even groceries for the most part, and there's some people that will just go to the closest grocery store just out of convenience. But there are others that will drive miles to a different store. Why is that? Why would you do that? It was because of a good marketing campaign. And a lot of times it'll stick with you for life. It's like when we go in, and a lot of times we don't even know it's happening. It's happening subconsciously in many, many cases because of television and commercials and advertisements and the stuff that we're just inundated with every day. It's like, have you ever walked into a supermarket or, any kind of store, a drugstore, and you want toothpaste and you walk down the toothpaste aisle and, my wife always does that kind of stuff. But there was one time I went and I was going to buy a tube of toothpaste for something. And I think I was going on a trip and I just needed something to go in my overnight bag. I walked in there and I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. There was 100 different types of toothpaste. I mean, talk about overwhelm. It's like, which one do I get? And, and then all of a sudden out of this whole wall, you just grab one. Why do you think that was? That was because of an ad campaign somewhere that you'd seen somewhere along the way. And, the little bell rings in the back of your head. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Crest. Well, where do you think that came from? That came from seeing it on TV hundreds of times over, 50 years. So basically, out of the sea of toothpaste, that's the one I gravitated to, and the other ones just kind of disappeared into the fog. So how would you like to be the one that they gravitate to and have everyone else disappear into the fog? That's why you need marketing. That's why you need a good marketing campaign. If you don't, you're going to be in the fog where you're going to disappear in the fog. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be the one that they just subconsciously pick up and say, Tim Gillette, he's the one to go to for podcasting, because they know it, they've seen it, they've heard it, he's been there. And repetition, repetition of your message, clear messaging. That's what you need to create. You need to get very clear on what it is that you offer, why somebody would want it, and create good, solid messaging around it. Just be consistent. That's, it all boils down to act. There's simple things. There's simple procedures. I was talking about the court case. If you create your presentation like a court case, keep it to the facts. You're trying to get an outcome. Your timeline here, your desired outcome on a presentation is to get a yes, right? To make a sale. That is just like a verdict in a court case. You want a good verdict in your court case, right? So what do? You present the facts. And what you want to do, every objection that could potentially come up, you want to address it. And you want to address it quickly and cleanly. And you want all of those things to add up to reasons why someone would buy you instead of someone else. So if there's, one of the things I would write down is I would think about what you offer, who's going to want it, why they're going to want it, and any potential reason why they wouldn't buy it. They want it, they know they need it, all of that. But you need to know, to present your case properly, you need to understand, why would they not? What are all the reasons that they would say no? When you come to the point where you say, would you like to move forward with that? Because that's your call to action. Once you believe that your case is solid and you're ready for a verdict, that's when you're going to say, does this sound like something you'd want to move forward with? Or would you like to move forward with this now? And you want a yes verdict on the end of that, right? If you get a no, there's one reason why you got a no. There was an objection that was unhandled. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you're presenting your case to the right person, you have something that they need and they desire, and they say no, it is because one reason: there was an objection that was left unanswered. And a lot of times it's just a piece of information. Maybe they didn't understand something. Maybe they need a little bit more. It could be any little minor thing like that. So understanding who you're talking to, again, back to the avatar thing. The avatar is not so you can have a picture of a person up on your wall so you can talk to somebody in private. That's not what it's for. The avatar is so you can have a deep understanding of who you're talking to and know what they're thinking, walk in their shoes, all that kind of stuff. So you can figure this stuff out. Because if you really want to automate a marketing campaign and be able to walk away from it, have it automate your life, you're going to have to do that. You don't have, like, in person, it's easy. In person, if they say no, all you have to do is say, what's holding you back? And then they'll tell you. But in a marketing campaign that's online and running in a webinar, you don't get that opportunity. You don't have that luxury. You're going to have to do all that stuff and hope, and not hope for the best. If you don't do that stuff, you're just hoping for the best. You want to produce the best. You want the best results possible. So the better that you do it, the higher you will convert. There's no way around it. I wish I could give you a better equation, but I can't. That's it. And I know it sounds kind of ugly. It sounds like a lot of work, but the beauty is you only have to do it once. If you create a good marketing campaign, it could run for a long time. I mean, how often do they change? 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Crest. I heard it as a kid. I'm still hearing it today. It worked. It works. It works. It'll work for, our grandkids and their grandkids. It's a solid proof element. So it's a brilliant campaign that they created too. They wrapped a lot of stuff in that one sentence. I mean, I talk about 3-dimensionalizing benefits and, claim proof benefit, and they wrapped an awful lot in that one sentence. And the fewer words, the better. The clearer, the more concise you can be. That's what you want to do for your business. Come up with what's your 4 out of 5 dentists recommend me. So, all right, you guys are awfully quiet today.
Okay, John, I got one for you.
All right.
Very small and very technical. I'm building out my design for my website, and I really like your round orange service icons you use on your website. I've been looking around for something to approximate that, and there's nothing out there that looks worth a crap. Where did you get yours? I'd love to be able to get them and change the color and use them on my website.
Are you talking about the little orange buttons that I use?
Yeah, the little orange buttons that describes, the little funnel with a $sign next to it and all that sort of stuff.
Let me take a look and make sure I give you the right information.
Go on your home page that you got 6 services listed and you got 6 little orange buttons.
Oh, the little round buttons?
Yeah, those ones.
Oh, okay. I actually made those in Photoshop. What I did was I just took a circle and I put the orange in it. And then I went over to Google and I put in what I was looking for with the suffix of icon. So, like, for instance, I put funnel icon and up comes a whole bunch. And when you say icon, it's just a one color, flat image. So they're just literally icons. Or in the traffic, I put traffic light icon. And I basically just take that, copy the icon, paste it inside my little orange ball, and save it as a JPEG or a GIF.
Well, I really liked yours, and you already did all the labor. So what I've basically done is I took them, I have an outline program in one of my graphics thing and just outlined it, and I can change the color. It's not exactly perfect, but when you get it down that small, it still reads clear enough, but I thought it was maybe a set that you got somewhere.
No, I made those. And if you want to take mine, all you have to do is right click on it and then do save image as. And then you can open that image in an editor. And what you can do is you can just blank out the center icon, just make just a round color and change the color to whatever color you want. And then just paste your white icon over it. And it's pretty simple with video or photo editing software.
Yeah, well, I tried doing that. When you right click on them and save them, all you get is the fact that it says it's got a .webp extension on it. So you have to open it in a separate browser and then then save the image from the open browser, take it to the online, find a conversion program that will change WebP files into PNG files, and it'll work, but it just took a little effort.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that before on certain images, like in Kartra. When you put stuff into Kartra, it does that. But here on my regular website, like you can see this one here, if you right click and do save image, it's a JPEG. So you can just save that JPEG to your desktop, open it up in Photoshop, and then you can edit it.
For me, they come up as WebP files.
Yeah, I've seen that before in certain sites. I don't know if that's a browser thing or what that is.
What browser are you using?
Only certain ones do that on mine, Richard.
Yeah, I'm in Firefox right now.
I'm on Google Chrome, and like the live events one does, Act Marketing does.
Does what?
This does opens the way he says it's supposed to open. It's the support and mentoring does what yours says yours is doing, Richard.
Yeah, well, I mean, I figured out a workaround, but I thought it was a set that he maybe purchased somewhere that I could go get and just change the colors. But I've already gone through the exercise of creating sufficiently accurate ones that'll work for, what is it, the minimum viable website?
Yeah. So see here,
I was going to ask how much you're willing to pay for that set there, Richard, because I might be able to negotiate with the guy who created these to get a set for you.
Why do you think I'm here?
to become a rep to sell them as well. Yeah, I get it, Richard.
Let's see here. I go to Google and I put traffic light icon, and then here you can say white. I want a white one, and then it will show you all the white ones, and you can just grab this. You can grab any of these. But when you put in icon, it'll just give you simple images. It won't give you like pictures and stuff. Like there's a pure white on the transparent background.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was looking for sets. I didn't do it one at a time. So I guess I can go back and look at it, because I've never Corel Draw and Photoshop came out at the same time. and Corel Draw was much more in alignment with what I needed. So I never got into the whole Photoshop thing. I can do most of what you can do in Photoshop in Corel Draw, but Corel Draw is not quite as photo friendly as obviously Photoshop is.
Yeah. I don't know how I got into Photoshop. I got it real early, and it was a real pain in the ass to learn. But
but you were into photography, so it made sense. You weren't looking for a graphics program.
Well, I got to tell you, I might have been a photographer and been into that, but I was not into computers. So this was not an easy transition for me. I was not a tech guy. I was more of a real world, hands-on, get it done kind of guy.
Thanks, John. I know now that I've got the way that you did it, I can replicate that and continue on down the road. Thanks.
Yeah. And I think the only reason I did it that way was I went like what you're doing, and I was trying to find a set, and I couldn't find a set of something that, looked like what I wanted. And a lot of it was really cheesy, and So I just said, hell with it. I can make them. And if you have a guy that you've found, you can find these guys on Fiverr, graphics guys that will do stuff for you, including videos. I just found a really good video guy, and he will create like a 2-minute video for 100 to 150 bucks. So good stuff. In fact, I just had a couple of them made. One of them, and Richard, you're going to love this. You've been asking me for this for a while on about a video for SitePop, right? Where'd he go?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I've already got it into him to being edited, and I've spent several hours because the way that he edited was not quite up to snuff. So I've had to kind of go around. I'm on my second revision with him to get it right. But yeah, so
okay, cool. And
but yeah, thank you for the video. I'm working on it, and it's going to be beautiful when it's done. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll just show you guys, what I'm talking about here. This is one of the videos that I just got back.
Frustrated because you can't get your website to rank on the first page of Google? Don't feel bad. Many businesses have the same problem, but it doesn't have to be that way. So cheer up. We have the perfect solution for you. It's called Local SEO Boost, brought to you by Internet Dominators. Here's how and why it works. Google's primary goal is to accurately determine every searcher's intent and then serve them web pages that provide the best user experience. It does this using an AI or artificial intelligence called RankBrain. We perform specialized searches on Google in order to train RankBrain. This shows Google that your web pages contain the best content the searchers are looking for. As Google learns that your website provides the best answers or the best solutions for their searchers, they gain trust in your website. Then they begin raising your web pages up in the ranking. Think of the concept, the cream always rises to the top. This program works like a charm to build trust with Google. We utilize a unique approach that other companies simply cannot duplicate. Once your website starts ranking on page 1 of Google, your ideal customers will start contacting you, resulting in more leads, sales, and profits. Let's summarize. Our local SEO Boost service is easy peasy and works like a charm if you want to build Google's trust for your brand. Rank on the first page of Google. Outrank your competitors and get fast results. Then this is for you. It is guaranteed effective, totally safe, and incredibly affordable. Plus, there's no long-term commitment. The only downside is there are limited spots available, and we don't take on competing customers. So contact us now before your competitors do. Visit InternetDominators.com or call 714-968-7697.
So that was 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Woo!
For $100. And notice in there, that was like making a presentation in 2 minutes. Nowhere in there did I talk about me other than the fact of where you get this is InternetDominators.com. That was the only thing that's even mentioned about the company. Not, how long we've been in business. Nobody cares. All they care about is what it's going to do for them. So that whole presentation was how it works to get them what they want, and then how to get it in 2 minutes. So, and then here's another one. This is for ACT.
One home run marketing campaign can change your life forever. Marketing automation can boost your lead flow and increase your profits while systematically acquiring new customers. This is why successful businesses depend on automated marketing campaigns. But the learning curve of doing it yourself and the cost of hiring an agency is often a bridge too far. Internet Dominators help small business owners create home run marketing campaigns and automate their marketing. This produces ad agency results with little to no budget. Your experience or skill level doesn't matter. Our ACT marketing protocol was designed to get you up and running super fast. ACT is an easy 3-step conversion formula that combines automation to a proven ad agency success model. Simply put, it leverages the power of the internet to drive motivated buyers to your offers. All you have to do is model its success. This will give you the power of automated funnels that sell like crazy, so you can attract and convert high-profit customers on autopilot. That's right. Even with a non-existent budget, you can enjoy predictable growth for your business fast with the ACT formula. This is the last marketing program you'll ever need. Stop struggling. Start modeling success. Imagine the confidence and pride you're going to feel when you can predictably grow your business. Get started now. InternetDominators.com/ACT.
Frustrated because you can't get your website to rank on the first page of Google?
So there you go. Two prime examples I've kicked out this week. and literally both of those were done in the last week or so. So it doesn't have to take a long time to get this stuff done. The biggest thing is your script.
Yeah.
Do not count on anyone to be able to do that for you. That's where you really need to kind of hone some skill set around crafting your message. And as few words as possible, as high impact as possible. And notice both of those were all about the other person and what they wanted, what it's going to do for them, how it's going to do it. A lot of times just telling them how it's going to do it is the proof. That is proof enough. When you tell somebody that something works, that's one thing. But when you tell them why it works and you're giving them reason that it works, that's another. Now, all of a sudden it goes from the case of hearsay to fact. We're all going to say our stuff is great, right? But that's just, everybody says that. What else are you going to say? What are you going to say? You got bad stuff? Come on. But now it's up to you to prove it. Because if you say it, that's just going to go off them like water off a duck. It's just going to bounce right off their back. So you have to prove it. There's no better way than to show them how it works. That gives their mind the reasoning power to say that actually works. I can see how that works. Not just some guy said it works. So, Jim, yeah, go ahead.
So obviously you supplied a script to the video creator, and It looks like you provided some images. How many images would you say would be a good guideline, like per minute? Or
the only images I gave that guy was my logo and the ACT logo.
And what about the 3-dimensional products?
He supplied all of that.
You just got it off your website?
Oh, you mean the picture of ACT with all the...
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I gave him that. I gave him
Okay.
any of my images I gave him, but all the rest of the stuff was just his stock stuff.
Okay, cool.
And that the product image of ACT, that is what's called a money shot. And that can have different meanings in different arenas, but a money shot is a picture. Even if your product is digital, people need to associate with an image. You have to have an image that they can relate to. So what you do is you create a digital representation of what it is that they're getting. Because people have trouble buying something that just doesn't exist, right? The ACT program it's not a physical thing that I ship to them. It's videos, it's concepts, it's mind game is what they're getting. And for them to be able to grasp that and understand what they're paying for, I had to create that image of, okay, here's the representation of what all is included. It's these lessons. So I made videos, little videos of all the lessons and the workbook and, all of that stuff. Even though the workbook it's a PDF, it's not a physical book. Unless you came to my house and went through the live training, then I printed one out and I actually gave you a physical book that you could take home with you. But when people go through online, I'm not shipping them, the whole package. It's all online. That helps too when you're creating your offer. When you go to the checkout, when they're checking out, you'll see a lot of the top marketers will do this. They'll put that money shot right on the invoice. So when they're filling out, their credit card information, they have that visual representation right there of what they're buying. That helps increase the conversion ratio. Because it's kind of a stretch for us as human beings to throw money out on a credit card over the internet wires, not knowing what we're going to get or thinking we're not really getting anything. It's kind of a stretch. So when you can bridge that gap for them and let them, let their reasoning see what they're getting, it will help. It'll help conversions. So figure out how whatever you do has a representation that you can put into an image, and that's your money shot. So.
And did you have that created on Fiverr, or did you do it yourself?
Actually, that was one of the girls. Her name was Diane. I forget her last name. She was friends with Sue Brook. She was a graphic person. She was one of the first ones that went.
Porter.
Yes, Diane Porter. She did that for me.
She did my blog VideoCon logo.
Yeah, she was awesome. She did a lot of graphics for me. That was one of the things. She couldn't afford to go through the program, so I did a trade with her. I said, hey, if you make me some graphics, I'll gift you the program. So that's how I wound up with that. That's how the picture of the workbook, all of those images.
Nice.
She created all that stuff for me. It was pretty cool.
And then let the chat ask, who's the company that did the videos? Is that on Fiverr, like a certain vendor?
Yes, let me get that for you.
Would you be willing to share your script with this and talk us through what the components are that you put into the script?
Sure, I can do that. Give me just a second. I'm going to find this video guy for you.
Awesome.
Okay, there he is. I'll put it in the chat. Okay, so this is the actual order button, but you'll see his name is NAVEED5534. That's his handle on Fiverr. And if you contact him and tell him that you want a replication of my marketing video, he'll give you that deal. He'll probably do a 2-minute video for you for like $100.
Yes, for Glenn's deal. I thought that was the one you said.
Yeah. Glenn is the one. He introduced me. Glenn introduced me to this guy, and that's how I associated with him. But now he knows me, so you can tell him either Glenn's deal or John's deal. He should know what you're talking about. So he has been awesome. I mean, he kicked that out and like within a couple of days. It was pretty cool. I think he charged Glenn $150 to do it originally, and then he would do a variation of it for $100. Okay, so let me get my script up here. And again, I just wrote this in Word. Let's see here. All right, so it's in Word. Let me see. Let me see what the word count is. It's 299 words. And basically that took up 2 minutes, 15 seconds. I didn't like go into it saying, I need to write this under 300 words. I just kind of wrote out what I wanted. And Glenn actually wrote a kind of a framework to this. And then I went in and edited it and made it considerably more powerful. Okay, so the top, this is kind of the eyebrow. In marketing, they call this an eyebrow. It's a call out. It's like, if you're frustrated, this is for you. It's that kind of thing. So I just put it right up front, frustrated because you can't get your website to rank on the first page of Google. That's very specific. And most people that have tried this have wound up frustrated. So I know that. It's like, you never make a statement or ask a question before you know the answer to it already. Like if you ask them a question that they're going to say false to, you're done before you even get started. So I know even the top professionals are frustrated with this. So I'm not going to go wrong with that intro statement. And then here, I'm taking the blame off them. Don't feel bad. Many businesses have the same problem. So I'm taking them from feeling isolated and defeated to, oh, okay, everybody has this problem, right? So I'm putting them into the pit of hell, and then I'm immediately taking them out. And then further to that, I'm saying it doesn't have to be this way. So cheer up. We have the perfect solution for you. And then I tell them what it is right out of the gate. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm not taking 45 minutes of crap to blow sunshine up their skirt before I tell them what I'm talking about. It's called Local SEO Boost, and it's brought to you by Internet Dominators. And I put show logo there. I told them I want the logo right here. And then we go right into here's how and why it works. And I'm telling them, what Google's goal is. Google's primary goal is to accurately determine every searcher's intent and then serve them the web pages that provide the best user experience. So I basically just told them right there what SEO is and how it works. Most people have no idea how Google picks who goes on the top. And there in one sentence, I just told them everything they need to know about that. I didn't tell them how to do it, but I told them what needs to be done. Then here, I'm telling them how it's doing it. It's doing this using an AI. Now, I don't leave them hanging wondering what an AI is. I say, or artificial intelligence. And then I'm telling them what Google calls their AI or their artificial intelligence. It's called RankBrain. So most people that have been around the SEO field for any length of time, they've heard RankBrain. They just don't know what it is or how it works. So here within the first few seconds, I've done a lot. I've taken a lot of mystery out of things. I've made a lot of things clear. And what does that do for me? That positions me as an absolute expert, because I've told them in a very short time frame things they've never heard before from anyone else. So that's what you want to try and achieve with your script, your marketing. And then I say, this is how we're doing it. We perform specialized searches on Google in order to train RankBrain. Like, that's like having a wild animal. Wouldn't you like him trained? That's something that they're going to be leaning forward. Oh, wow, really? I can get that. I can have it trained that I belong at the top. This shows Google that your web pages contain the best content for the searchers are looking for. That's exactly what they want. Here, as Google learns that your website provides the best answers or the best solutions for their searchers, they gain trust in your website. So now what am I doing here? I'm creating demand and desire now that they understand. I'm educating them, and that's creating demand and desire for what they want. They want trust in their website, so Google pushes them to the top. And then I state it. Then they begin raising your web pages up in the ranking. That's exactly what they want. And then I put it into layman's terms that they can understand. Think of the concept. The cream always rises to the top. So what do you want to be, the cream or the acid? And then let's see. This program works like a charm to build trust with Google. We utilize a unique approach that other companies simply cannot duplicate. So here I'm kind of setting the bar where we're doing something not everyone else is doing. I'm telling them things that no one else has told them. That tells them I have a deep understanding of this content. And then here, once your website ranks page 1 of Google, your ideal customers will start contacting you, resulting in more leads, sales, and profits. That again is on the end of their timeline of what they want. This is why they want to be on top. Remember, I always say what they want. They want to be on top of Google. Why do they want it? Very important why they want it. If you don't hit that, you're missing the boat. Here it is, why they want it. They want more leads, sales, and profits. They don't really want to be on top. This is what they really want. It's being on top is what's going to get them this. So by understanding that, I can put that into words. And then let's summarize. Our local SEO Boost service is easy peasy, works like a charm. If you want to build Google's trust for your brand, rank on the first page of Google, outrank your competitors, and get fast results, then this is for you. It is guaranteed effective, totally safe. This is a big one. I know the biggest objection to SEO is that they're going to get penalized. So I'm addressing that here in 2 words, totally safe. And another one, here's another objection. I know another big objection is SEO is expensive. What's this? Incredibly affordable. So I'm eliminating objections before they rear their head. So when I go to the call to action, those objections are already going to be knocked down. I'm taking away the reasons that they would say no here. Here's another one. No long-term commitment. Why would I say that? That could be a hidden objection of, oh God, I don't want to get tied into another year program. No long-term commitment. Here's the only downside. The only downside is there are limited spots available and we do not take on competing customers. What did I do there? I just limited this opportunity. Now it's exclusive. It's not for everybody. And they're going to have an incredible advantage. If I take them on, I'm not going to take their competitor on. That also means if I take on their competitor, they're out. They could no longer receive this. So I'm creating some scarcity and some urgency here. I did this live on stage at Glacier Kennedy and literally created a stampede to the back of the room. People were trampling themselves to make sure that they got it first before their competitor did. So I know this shit works in the real world, so you replicate it here. So that's what I'm doing here. The only downside, there are limited spots available and we do not take on competing customers. If this were a longer webinar, I might elaborate on that a little bit more, but this is a 2-minute video. This is just grab attention, get them going, pull them in. Okay, so contact us now before your competitors do. This is what Frank Kern calls twist the knife. Now that the knife's in their side, go ahead and twist it a little bit. And then visit internetdominators.com or call, and there's the number. So does that kind of answer what I did, why I did it, all of that?
That fed me. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Hey, John, any way we could get that Word document?
Sure.
I was just gonna ask that same thing, man.
Would you write ours for us,
Mine's big,
John?
right, yeah.
You already did.
That wasn't bad for 2 minutes, right? I packed a lot of act in there.
You make it look so simple, John. I know how much, I know how much time I spend on writing my own copy. And when I look at how simple and beautiful yours is, it's like, oh, we've got to replicate this. So consider that a compliment.
And that is truly all you have to do. ACT is about copying. It's about copying what works. All I've done is done the same thing. I just copied the stuff from what ad agencies do. Everything, you'll notice every piece of ACT, everything I talk about, it's not me. It is simply me replicating what ad agencies do. That is truly all it is. Ad agencies have worked for hundreds of years. It goes back to Benjamin Franklin. You know, a lot of the stuff, believe it or not, a lot of the stuff, I don't know if he was the inventor of it. You know, he was a great inventor. I don't know if he invented, you know, all of this stuff or if he simply copied it from somebody before him. But I know I've seen a lot of this in his work. Like the claim proof benefit statement, that was all him. You know, you can see that if you look up Marketers Hall of Fame, Benjamin Franklin, you'll see the script that he did that put him in the Marketers Hall of Fame. He was selling a wood burning stove, and admittedly, it was the worst product on the market, yet he outsold the competition like they weren't even there, simply because of his marketing prowess. So that is how important this stuff is. It can take a mediocre product and turn that mediocre product owner into a multimillionaire. You don't have to have the best. You have to market the best. So, you know, it makes me absolutely sick to see other marketers that truly outmarket the shit out of me just because of my laziness. And I can guarantee you, I know their stuff is absolute crap. Yet they're making literally millions and millions of dollars more than I am. And that just sickens me.
I think Grant Cardone is a good example of that.
There's a lot of them. I mean, the internet highway is laden with them. So, but anyway, that's here nor there.
Right.
All right, I'm going to put that script for you guys in the chat box if you want it.
Yes, please.
Yeah, make sure you give it to everybody or Tim will sell it to them one by one.
You're so bad.
All right.
Hey, John, is your video explainer somewhere like on a YouTube link that we could view?
This recording is put into the portal every week.
Yeah, that's the case. I don't actually have it up. I just got it like a couple of days ago, so I haven't really put it up anywhere yet. But it will be up soon. I'm going to start using it, and it's going to be a YouTube ad. And I'm also going to use it on, I don't know if I'm going to run Facebook ads or not, but I will post it out on Facebook, just in social media. Did that script come through? It says it has a disk IO error on it.
John, may I raise my hand as someone who has lost their Google ad account for promoting Site Pop? Google will not let you run that ad because it talks about overrunning, excuse me, it talks about outsmarting RankBrain, and Google will not let you, they will ban your account if you try and do that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I'd be interested to see if they would let me get away with it on YouTube though.
No, because
Probably
you have to use, that's how I lost mine. I built that ad that I played for you a few months back.
Yeah.
It was going to be a Google ad, and they never ran it. As soon as I submitted it, my account was shut down, and they've not been willing to talk to me since.
Oh, well, that is a good point. But the ACT one, I could get away with that one.
Absolutely. The ACT works because you aren't talking about rank brain or outsmarting rank brain. They absolutely do not.
I'd
like
run the
that.
rank brain one. I'd run that on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I could run that one on all the other platforms.
Boy, John, it's a good thing you have a group like this to tell you what doesn't work.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've learned more from you guys than you can imagine.
You can definitely email market.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
and thanks for being the person to get kicked off of Google for us, Richard. We appreciate you telling us what won't work now.
Yeah, well,
Leading
you know,
that way.
it's caused me to be a bit more creative, and I've actually found some other ways that I like that. Quite frankly, I doubt 99.9% of the people know about in terms of how to go about getting directly to business owners and stuff. So it's adversity demands creativity. I think if somebody didn't say that already, I just did.
Yeah. Well, you know, that brings a really good thing to mind that actually came out, because Richard, you could take that same thing. You could basically take that same video, that same ad, and you could remove out the parts about the SEO, and you could make it a curiosity ad that was, here's something we've found is 10 times more effective than traditional SEO, and just leave it at that. And then let them opt in, and then put that presentation further down your marketing funnel in an actual webinar.
Yeah, re-editing that is something that's high on my list, as is completing a very short lead magnet called SEO, the big lie, which is basically everybody talks about content and backlinking because that's the only thing they control, and that's less than 50% of what the ranking factor is.
Yeah.
Want to find out more? And
Yeah. But you know, there's a cliche to this whole thing. Curiosity is what killed the cat, right? If you can get people curious, you can move them to action. If you don't spark their curiosity, they probably won't move. And that's what the big idea is all about. Remember the key components. It's the promise of what they want on their timeline. That's the first one. The unique mechanism. That's how you're going to deliver on the promise. That's the proof that I've been talking about. That's telling them how it works. This is why it works. Here's how it works. That's the proof. That's the unique mechanism. That's what you have that's different than everyone else. So now you've got the two front end factors. Now the back end, the kicker is, how are you going to say that in a unique, compelling way that they haven't heard it? What's your curiosity factor? How are you going to wrap it in mystery so they have to solve the riddle? They have to know the answer to it. And I've talked about who is really, really good at this is people that write the headlines for magazines. Most magazines are sold by the front cover. Especially point of purchase stuff. And if you go into a supermarket, you'll notice when you go to the checkout, that's where they put the National Enquirer, if that's still even a thing, or they call the rag magazines. That's where they put them. Look at those headlines. They are absolutely spectacular. Those writers are phenomenal. Other ones that are really good to learn from is the guys that write the news trailers. I know a lot of you don't watch regular TV anymore. You bypass the commercials and all that. But if you watch local stations at 10 o'clock, from 9 to 10, they're starting to run the news trailers, how to get you to stay up for the 11 o'clock news. And those guys are absolutely phenomenal at curiosity factors. If you want to learn, just watch them and analyze. Well, look, don't just do it for entertainment. Don't just let it go in one ear and out the other. Watch it and understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. Just like I broke that script down, break it down yourself. What are they doing? Why are they doing it that way? It's stuff is really effective. I mean, really effective. They'll get you to watch 30 minutes of garbage to get, the one little nugget they were talking about. In most cases is worthless. You go, God damn it, I stayed up another half hour for that. Really? But they got you to do it. They get you to move. That's the whole thing. How are you going to get somebody to watch your webinar? You have to get them to move. If you can't master that piece, you're not going to be very successful at getting them to watch your presentation. It's sad, but it's true.
Suggestion.
Uh-huh.
Richard could also just run his ad on other platforms and say something to the effect of, this is the information Google doesn't want you to know. They wouldn't even let us put it up on their site.
Great idea. Great
Oh
idea.
yeah, that's already on the sheet for to be worked
I know.
on.
I knew you were way ahead of me.
There's a couple of platforms actually that are really good for that, Richard. One of them would be Black Hat World. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
I've seen them before, but I've intentionally, given that Google is looking over your shoulder everywhere you go and everything you do, I try not to spend much time there.
Well, Black Hat World, that is a really good community for that. And also the Warrior Forum. Those two are places where internet marketers go to try and get the edge. That's why they go to those sites. They're looking for the edge.
That's why I thought that the SEO, the big lie, might get people's attention.
Yeah, absolutely. That Black Hat World, they've actually had me speak at 2 of their conferences. They do conferences once a year called Ungagged. And they'll bring, industry leaders out that will speak the truth and not hold anything back. And they had me, I think about, probably 5 or 6 years ago, they had me in Las Vegas. It was at Caesar's Palace. And I got such a good turnout that they wanted me to go to London. And usually you have to pay to go. I didn't have to pay to go to Caesar's. They had me come, they actually covered my expenses. And then they wanted me to go to London. And I didn't really want to go to London. I don't know why. I just wasn't interested. And they offered to pay all the expenses and all of that. And Barb's like, you've got to go do that. And I'm like, and I went back to my, well, you don't get me without my wife. So you got to pay for her too. So they offered to pay for her too. So we went to London and spoke over there. And it was the only time, I don't know if I've told you guys this, it's the only time I've ever spoke and I actually felt bad afterwards. And the reason I felt bad was I had a packed room. They have 3 tracks going. So you have 3 speakers to choose from. And my room was packed. All seats were taken. There was people standing around the edges and actually out in the hall, listening in through the door. And I really wanted to grind the other 2 speakers. So at the end, I said, if you guys got value from this, I want you to make some noise so that other people in the other auditoriums know what they missed. And they went absolutely ape shit. I mean, I thought they were going to tear the place apart. And later when it ended, I found out there was literally no one in the other 2 conference rooms. They had to bring in employees so that people had somebody to talk to. And that I felt really bad about that. I'm like, oh God, I really didn't need to do that. I felt a little bad about that one.
Yeah, but not deep down.
Yeah, it didn't last long. but it was like one of those things I didn't really need to go there. So, but they have a great community. Black Hat World is a very large organization, and they have a lot of people that, they're all about SEO and, all about living on the edge. So it's the perfect place for that audience.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, absolutely. And Warrior Forum's the same way. They're very oriented to sell stuff too. Warrior Forum is all about selling stuff. And both of those platforms you can run ads on. You can do paid advertising on both of them.
Now that I did not know.
Yep, they both are paid ad platforms. So I knew a woman from Brazil that sold SEO services, and she said Black Hat World is where she got the majority of her customers. And she said most of them, get this, I would not have suspected this, but she told me most of the customers that she got out of Black Hat World were small business owners. They weren't SEO guys. They were small business owners looking for the edge. They're looking for an advantage.
Good to know.
So that's some really key insight into that community.
Well, thank you, John. That is certainly a fair trade for telling you not to get banned on Google Ads.
Absolutely. Anything I can share that will help, I'm all about that. So,
any chance you'll ever white label Act?
Sounds like a lot of work.
I could make a deal out. We can white label it to the simple, easy plan. I'm just saying. I know the guy who has that trademark. Might be easier for me to sell that way.
On the Act, let me ask you this: on how would you see that working on white labeling Act?
The simple, easy Act program.
Yeah, but I mean, would it be with like me just giving you the scripts and stuff so you could redo all the videos and not have me in there, or have?
Well, John, you're so good, and we're all, kneeling at the altar of John Limbacher. The problem is, if we sell the Act program, the first video they see with you, we've just lost customers.
Well, here's something that you can take solace in. I would just send them right back to you because I'm really not looking for more customers. As far as like,
well, if we're selling the Act program, you're doing the follow-up call as you know what I mean. So in other words, we're just labeling your program with our labels. You're still in it. You're still doing it. All right. But the upsell from it is getting people into your monthly. In my case, we're getting them into your monthly program, and that way, you're still making money then on the back end as well.
Yeah,
but my brand combined with your brand.
Here's the way that I could see you selling Act and having it work really, really well for you is if you were to provide a done for you service. Like, let's say you were to provide a Kartra marketing funnel service, where you would sell a full Kartra marketing campaign to someone, and you tell them the prerequisite for this is you need to go through the Act program so you can give me the information that I need. So they can come through the program, they can understand, what you are doing for them. It will increase the value tenfold. I'm not going to build the programs for them, so you have no fear of losing them to me.
Yeah.
They're just coming to me to get them up to a point where they can work with you and they can give you the information that you need to put a marketing campaign together for them. That way you can sell them Kartra, you can build them a Kartra campaign, you can probably get them on a monthly maintenance fee, you can sell them SEO, you can sell them all the other services that you do, and you would create incredible value to them. that's a way that I could see you using the ACT program for your customers.
Well, I've thought long and hard about ways of doing it. The problem is, as soon as they see behind your curtain, they know that when you're charging $99 a month for the SEO Boost, and I would like to charge them $2.99 or $3.99 or $4.99, depending on the size of their business, they're not going to hang around long.
Well, the ACT program really isn't about that so much. I know we wind up talking about it because a lot of people that buy SEO as agencies, when they find out that I'm doing training like this and they can get in on it, a lot of them jump in, and then they're not on here. You'll notice they're not on the calls most of the time. They're only on here when they have a problem with SEO and they hop over here to get their answers. So, but I could see your point there as far as that goes.
Also, John, you're marketing more to the internet marketers as opposed to the end users most of the time. At least that's my perception of what you do. Have I got that right, or am I missing something?
Not really. I mean, the ACT program is built not necessarily for internet marketers. It's built for business owners. It's built for people that want to either create an online business or want to transition their regular business onto online. So I'm not really going after the internet marketing space. The only place I go after the internet marketing space is literally to sell site pop. We do sell site pop to the internet marketing world because that's who it's for. But ACT isn't necessarily for them. They're a whole different crowd of people. They really don't have much interest in ACT. They've already figured out how to do that stuff. They're looking for tools and services and stuff that they can market and sell and use and all that. But it's like the marketers. I basically built this program for Craig's group. I didn't have anything like ACT before Craig. I went into Craig's group because Craig invited me in and he said, look, he goes, I got all these people, they need SEO. And I'm like, awesome. That sounds terrific. So I joined and got in and you know, he did what he said. He put me up on stage. I talked about SEO. I educated people and everybody wanted it. The problem was I wasn't willing to take them on because they weren't ready for it. None of them knew who they were marketing to. They didn't know why they would want it, all of that stuff. And I'm like, I can't make SEO work unless you've got your shit together. So it was like, you know, there was only a couple of people in his entire group that had something that I considered SEO worthy, you know, that I thought they could convert on the other side. So at that point, I'm like, you know, I can remain here and keep doing what I'm doing and just frustrate the hell out of everybody, including myself, or I can solve the problem as I can build a bridge to take this group of people from where they are to where they need to be. So then SEO could work for them. That's where the ACT program came from. So it really wasn't developed for internet marketers. It was developed for people that were just entering into or trying to figure out how to get their business online. And it works really well for them, you know, as long as they follow the steps and, you know, stick to the program. I mean, it'll literally work for any business. There's no business I can see the ACT program not being right for. I haven't seen a business yet that doesn't match the criteria. I'm still looking though. It's like, you know, a business is foundationally based on buying and selling, you know, or providing service and selling. You're transacting, and ACT is all about making a transaction. It's about conveying a message, creating, you know, demand and desire, eliminating objections, and making an offer. And I don't see any business. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Is there any business that wouldn't work for? None I can think of. I know a whole bunch of businesses that aren't doing it and are suffering because of it. That's
A lot of food for thought there, John.
yeah.
And the white label is still something where if we could get your presence out of it, as much as we like your presence for here, but in the videos and stuff, I'm still not sold on that yet.
Well, like I said, if you can tell me what it is what do you want me to do? If it's not too much work for me, I'm happy to do it. Or if there's enough, if it's not that I'm not willing to do work, it's I look at how much work I'm going to put in as to what I'm going to get out of it. Like if you told me, hey, I can sell 1,000 units of this, and if you're not in the videos, then I will get Tim to do the videos for you. I don't care. If there's enough money in it to make everybody's worthwhile, then it's a conversation.
Super, John. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for some reason, did the script come through for you guys? It has an error on my side in the chat. Okay. If it didn't come through, what I'll do, I'll put it up in the members area. When we're off the call here, I'll go in and I'll put it in the members area in the bonus section. And then you'll have it in there. You can get access to it in there.
Hey, John, just to be sure you have it closed in Word, right? Because you have to close it before you can upload it.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah, the link that's in there that I got takes me to the Fiverr page.
Yeah, no, there was another one. I put it up twice and it said disk IO, but Roger's right. It was open. Let me try it again. Hey,
Ooh,
there.
I'm excited. There it is.
Thank you, Roger.
Yep, no worries.
I learned as much from you guys as you learned from me. Awesome. So there you go. Problem solved. You guys all send Roger $2.
There you go. Sending customers right back at him.
Awesome. That's interesting. I never knew that. Disk IO error. That's what that will create. Cool stuff. All right. What's next? Do you guys feel like I go too deep on stuff? No, because
Never.
okay, good. Because it kind of feels like I dig in too deep when I could say less. And I've got some people that when I talk to, I'm like, I wind up telling them that the pure amount of words that come out of their mouth just exhausts me. And I want to make sure that I'm not that guy.
So John, next time that you don't have anything prearranged, I'm going to ask you what parts of those sales webinars, those 60-minute, let's say sales webinars, really annoy you. But I don't want you to do that now because we're going up on an hour and a half and I'm not going to keep everybody.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm happy to. I can talk about that one for a while.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, Roger, you got to make a note and bring it up next time.
Will do, Richard.
Oh, another thing I wanted to let you guys know a little bit in advance is there is a Thursday coming up where I am not going on the call.
17th of March, I'm betting.
I think it's the 10th.
Oh,
Let me see here. Let me make sure. Yes, the 10th.
okay.
17th, that's St. Patty's Day.
I know that's 17th. I'm like traveling that way. I was like, oh, please make it be the same day.
No, on the 10th of March, I'm actually we have come full circle now through the whole pandemic. I'm going to be back on the stage that I was escorted off of when they shut down Long Beach Arena. That's the Western Pool and Spa Association. They're doing the live event back at the Long Beach Convention Center, and they've invited me back to pick up where I left off. So it's been 2 or 3 years, at least 2 years. So it'll be the first time I've been on a live stage since that whole thing started. So that'll be on the 10th. So we will probably, and they're going to have me Thursday and Friday. So we'll probably wind up doing this call on Wednesday. So little advance notice on that one. So if you want me that week, plan on it being on Wednesday.
Hey, yeah, you should do it on Wednesday. Oh no, you should do it Wednesday. This is 2 hours earlier, and that way you can be doing it at the same time as Craig.
There you go. No, I don't want to compete with Craig.
I know I don't do stuff at the same time as him either, because I promised him I wouldn't compete with him.
No, he has a very loyal following. You'd be hard pressed to pull his people away from him.
No, so.
You know, don't take bones away from dogs, right?
Well, don't bite the hand that's feeding
you. So, but anyway, that will be coming up. What else? I guess that's about it. About it. That's new on the forefront here. It'll be interesting to see how that conference goes. How many people show up, and if they're as eager to buy as they once were. I would think they would be. All right.
I got messages yesterday from, I was messaging people that I haven't heard from in 2 years, and realizing many of them, they still have their website up, but they went and got a job again. Yeah.
Oh, that's an ugly thought.
I know. I'd hate that to happen. I would sooner live in a tent again before getting a job. I can't stand living in a tent.
Oh man. All right. Well, anything else before we wrap up for today? Teresa, I saw your lips move, but I didn't hear you.
I just said goodbye.
Oh, okay.
I would hate to start a whole new discussion, so I'll just defer until the following week. So I've got a few questions, but
all right.
Next time. Stay tuned. Come in next time.
That'll keep us coming back next time to find out what Liv's questions are.
Ooh.
There you go. Yeah, you got that seed.
Prepare to be disappointed, but
just like the 11 o'clock news, right?
Big build up and nothing.
Big letdown.
All right, well, guys, have
Take
a
good care, everybody.
We will see you next week, regular time.
Bye,
Thanks
everybody.
for the call, John. Bye-bye.